Barakateh Hawa, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rucha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is called When Yahawashi Comes Around. And pretty much the inspiration for this lesson is coming from a song done by Johnny Cash called The Man Comes Around. And pretty much in that lesson, Johnny Cash, which is a Gadite, he looks like an Edomite, but he's a Gadite. He's actually a Gadite or Scottish. So he's a Jake regardless. He's a Jake. I believe he thought he was Gad, but he really was Scottish, and a lot of those Scottish are Jakes. And one of the last songs that he wrote was called The Man Comes Around. And the song pretty much is centered around judgment. Now, if you brothers would like to hear the song, just type in The Man Comes Around, Johnny Cash on YouTube. It'll pop up. And in this lesson, we're going to examine and break down the actual song that he wrote. And he was saying that this was one of the best songs he ever wrote. He said he wrote I forget how many pages of lyrics he wrote, and he had to painstakingly go through all of them, and this is what he ended up with, which is actually 2 verses and 2 choruses with the intro and the outro. And this is very heavy because this whole thing pretty much breaks down the coming of our Lord Yahawashi and pretty much what to expect, which was pretty impressive, coming from someone that really didn't know the scriptures like that. Even though he read the scriptures, he was acquainted with the scriptures, but as far as the breakdowns to everything, he really didn't fully understand. But he did understand enough to where he wrote a song dealing with judgment, and that was pretty heavy. So the intro goes, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse. Now this is a direct quote from the book of Revelation chapter 6 verses 1 and 2, which actually was verse 2, but we're going to start at verse 1 just to get it going. And it says, "And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." Now, we know that this is dealing with Yahawashi. The white horse, white represents purity, and horse represents power. Because when he comes back, he's coming back as an angelic force, as we've gone through in other lessons. He's coming back in a chariot. He's coming back in his angelic form and his angelic power. This is why he said, "I will not meet thee as a man." This is why it also says traveling in the strength of his, in the greatness of his strength, or something along those lines. So when Yahawashi comes back, he's coming back in pure power. It said, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. This is why he's known as the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, because he's coming down. And it said that he had many crowns on his head in Revelation 19, because he's coming back to take all of these kingdoms down that are ruling, beginning with Esau, who has the last rulership, the last empire, and these other nations, they're actually ruling underneath Esau. But all of these different kingdoms and empires that are ruling are going to be taken down when Yahawashi comes back. So pretty much that's the premise of the song, just centered off of Revelation 6 verses 1 and 2. So like I said, it's pretty like I said, he's a Jake. He thought he was Gad, but he's really of Scottish ancestry from what I understand. And you have a lot of Scots that are really Jakes, just like you have a lot of Irish that are Jakes. You have a lot of Southern Italians, and you have Jakes everywhere. Jake was spread throughout the four corners of the earth. And one thing in history that is not taught is that during the Dark Ages, or the Middle Ages, or the Byzantine Empire, it was so-called black people that were ruling, all throughout Europe. So you still have a lot of descendants of those that are still around. And you have white-looking people today that have so-called Negro father descendants, or they're descendants of so-called Negro fathers. And their line goes back. Some of them embrace it. Some of them are ashamed of it because they were brought up to think that they were so-called white. But nevertheless, in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be happy that their ancestry went back to those that were ridiculed, because they're going to be in a good case. All right. So Revelation 6:1-2 is dealing with Yahawashi. Now, when we get into the first verse of this song, the man comes around. It said, there's a man going around taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around. So pretty much when Yahawashi comes back, he's going to come back, taking names. Because he's going to bring judgment, the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. He's going to bring that judgment. And we read in 2 Corinthians 5:9, it says, wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahawashi, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. And pretty much the reason why the judgment is committed to Yahawashi is because the Heavenly Father gave everything into his hands. We go to the book of Ephesians. There's others, but this is one usually that I remember. Ephesians chapter 1 and verse Ephesians 1:20, which he wrought in Yahawashi when he raised him from the dead and set him on his right hand in heavenly places. That's why he said, sit thou at my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. So this is what Yahawashi is waiting for the Heavenly Father to give him dominion, so that he's able to put all these nations in subjection. And everyone is going to bow to Yahawashi, far above all principality and power and might and dominion and every name that is named, not only in this world, but also in that which is to come. So pretty much every rulership, every dominion, every empire, every king, every queen, every government, every parliament, every whatever you have that has any form of power or hierarchy is put under Yahawashi, whether it's physical people or whether it's spiritual, whether it's spirits, whether it's animals, whether it's men, whether it's women, whatever it is, whether they're kings, paupers, or whatever. Everything is put under the feet of Yahawashi. And he's coming back to claim his throne. And when he comes back to claim his throne, he's coming back to set everything in order. And he's coming back to put his slaves in order and to bring forth his elect, his elect nation, and set them back up into power. It says, and hath put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness of him that filleth all in all. So when Yahawashi comes back, he's coming back to put down all rule and to set himself up in power as a ruler, because that's what he was created for. That's why Pontius Pilate asked him, are you a king? He said, that's why I was sent here for, to be a king. But the first step for him, before he could be a king, he had to go through the humiliation of what he went through, and that cemented his position. That's why the Lord told him, sit thou on my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool, because he already went through the humility part, or the humiliation part. Now he's going to go through the honor part, which is going to be, he's going to be honored and exalted, So going back, it says, so that was it. That was it on that. So then part of the part of the first verse is here. The hairs on your arm will stand up Why? Because when Yahawashi comes back, it's going to be a fearful sight. That's why it says men's hearts failing them for fear and looking upon those things which are coming upon the earth. It says, at the terror in each sip and in each cup. I'm sorry. The hairs on your arms will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each cup. I'm sorry. Keep saying cup. The hairs on your arms will stand up at the terrors in each sip and in each sup. Will you partake of that last offered cup or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around? So it says the hairs on your arms will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup. So let's go from there to the book of I leave that. We can go from there to the book of I leave that also because we're going to need that. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 18. And we're just going to go straight to the point. Verse 14, his confidence, meaning Esau's confidence, shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. Why? Because right now Esau, they're comfortable. They're dug in. They're so comfortable and so dug in, they never think that they're going to be removed. They think they're going to rule forever. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and to all generations. It says his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. So when Yahawashi comes back, Yahawashi is going to be that king of terrors. He's also known as a grim reaper, that angel that went through Egypt and killed all the firstborn of the Egyptians. You see? So when Yahawashi comes back, he's coming to bring terror. Because just imagine that. You see it in the movies and people get nervous when you see chariots in the skies invading, the governments and invading their military, invading their armies. And there's no power in their hand to do anything about it. That's sheer terror. Looking at something from a different dimension. It's one thing to fight against a man, but it's another thing to fight against some form of beast or some form of alien. This is why in the movie 13th Warrior, Antonio Banderas, he was nervous because he thought that they were half man, half beast. But then when he killed one and he looked and he saw that it's a man, it's a man, it's a man. And that gave him more courage because now he knew he was fighting a man. He wasn't fighting a beast. So when these devils come try to fight against Yahawashi and the angels, they're going to be in a bad case because they're fighting an angelic power. Doing feats that are not even possible to humans, to where if a human even tried to do some crazy shit like that, their whole body will come apart because they're not made like that. They ain't built like that. All right. So now let's go from there to the next precept, which is, that's why I left it, 2 Corinthians 5:11. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. But we are made manifest unto the Most High, and I trust are also made manifest in your consciences. Yeah, because we know the terror of the Lord. That's why we persuade men. That's why we're letting brothers out there, sisters out there know, look, the time is coming when the Lord's going to open up on this place. It behooves you to get in line and to do what you're supposed to do so that when the Lord comes back, you could be found in his good graces. Because those that are found outside of his good graces, they're in trouble. That's why I say, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. You see? Because there's going to come a point when he's not going to be found. Now, the next precept I have, which the brother, matter of fact, I read it off the comment board. The brother Hawaii just put it up there. Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. So the Lord is coming to bring destruction. Matter of fact, this is another good one. This brother here. Ecclesiastes 36:6. Show new signs and make other strange wonders, because there's going to be a strange wonder. The strangeness of his salvation. His strange work. And it's going to be strange. Although people are talking about it, they know about it, they see it, it's going to be strange. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, which is Yahawashi, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. And this is what Yahawashi is coming to do. He's coming to do battle upon the earth. He's coming to do battle upon the militaries of this world. This is why the scriptures speak about this last battle being called Armageddon, which the word Armageddon is Harmageddon, which means mountain of the troops, because all of these armies are being amassed and gathered together over there in the Middle East. You know, and the reason why that's happening is because the Lord is about to pour out his fury and his indignation upon them. This is Zephaniah 3 and 8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahawashi, unto the day that I rise up to the prey, because Esau and these nations are the prey. They're the problem. But we can't get rid of the problem because we don't have the power to do that. So that's why the Lord said, wait ye upon me, because he's the one that's going to intervene and destroy these devils for us. So the Lord said, wait for me until I rise to the prey, for my determination. What the Lord wants is to gather the nations. So all nations are going to be gathered. It says that I may assemble the kingdoms. Yep, that's right. You listening, vocab? To pour upon them mine indignation. What is indignation? Righteous anger. So the Lord is going to pour his righteous anger upon these nations, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy, because the Lord has a judgment coming. And the world is going to be in terror, in agony, frightful, fearing, having heart attacks, strokes, shitting on themselves, vomiting, passing out from sheer horror and terror. That's why this is written. Let's go from there to Matthew. So you see how just reading through these lyrics of this song is so profound. And like I said, this man was a Jake. I believe he's in the spirit world now. He was a Jake. And that's why he was able to make that assessment, you know, of the scriptures, of Yahawashi coming back. And that's why it said there's a man going around taking names. Be ready for his coming. Matthew 24:42. Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth come. Yeah, that's why we watch. We're watching for the prophecies. We're watching for different news events that happen around the world. Different things that are happening technology-wise, financial-wise, you know, so on and so forth, to be able to go back into the scriptures and say, okay, this is this prophecy happening, coming to pass, and eventually, you know, this is next, and then the Lord will be coming not too long after that. All right. It says, but know this, that if the good man of the house had known in which time and what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. This is why the scriptures say, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. What wisdom and what knowledge? The wisdom and knowledge of this Bible, of this truth. But not just of the Bible, but of the doctrine, the true doctrine. Because that true doctrine, that's going to be the ticket out of here. That's the seal of the Lord. It says, who then is a faithful and wise servant whom his Lord hath made ruler over his house, over his household, to give them meat in due season? Because the due season is the time when the reward is given. You know, you don't give the reward before the race is over. You don't give the reward before the contest is over. You give the reward after the contest is over, or the race is over, whatever the case may be, to the one that's worthy, that finished the mission. So that's why it's in due season. It says, blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Doing what? Doing the work. Teaching. You know, hoping, praying, fasting, whatever it is that an individual has to do. Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But, and if that evil servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, which you have some individuals out there that do that. They say, oh, the Lord's taking too long, man. You know, I'm getting antsy. It says, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants and to eat and drink with the drunken. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because it's going to be horrible. You know, These perilous times that are coming. It's going to be horrible. You know? It's not going to get better till the kingdom of heaven. You know? Jacob's trouble. It's going to intensify. All kind of stuff is going. Now there's reports that by the summer there's going to be gas shortages because of this whole disruption that just happened and other things that are happening. But they're doing this on purpose. You know, you got certain governmental agencies buying up natural resources and food and things of that nature, you know, getting prepared for what's coming. You know, because they have an agenda, man. They have an agenda, and their agenda is rolling out. They're moving with this agenda regardless of who likes it or not. But the problem is that even though the Lord has given them the ability to do that, the Lord is also going to be the one to checkmate them. Because that agenda that they're rolling with is the agenda of the Lord. And in that agenda, the Lord is going to use it to judge a lot of people. And eventually that same agenda that he judged a lot of people with, he's going to judge those that were pushing the agenda, which is the international banking families, beginning with the Amalekites that are up top, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, you know, whatever, wherever they may be or whatever they may call themselves. Because a lot of them change their names. That's why when you talk about this financial conspiracy of these elite international banking families being Amalekites, they said, no, because these people over here, yeah, because they changed their names to be so-called American or to be so-called European or to be so-called this or to be so-called that, to get away from that Amalekite heritage. Anyways, now let's go to the last one for that verse is Psalms 75 and 8. And it reads, "For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture." And this is talking about the destruction. And he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. Yeah, so when the Lord brings his judgment, everyone is going to pay to the last drop. The only ones that are going to be delivered are the elect of the nation of Israel out of America, and wherever they may be, wherever the elect may be around the earth of Israel that are to be delivered. But especially here in America, the land of Israel, that's going to be totally wiped out. And pretty much at that moment, the Lord is going to purge the world of all of that iniquity. And then begins the next part of the payment for these nations is going into hardcore slavery to finish paying for their crimes. And then after 1,000 years, Esau will be rounded up, bonfired up, Obadiah 1:18, and then from that point on, the nations will go back to their lands. You know, they'll be set up in power over themselves, but they will be tributary to us. And they will follow our ways, they will follow our laws, our statutes, our commandments. You know? Think about it. All right, so now let's go back to the song. Now we're dealing with the chorus. The chorus goes, "Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers." What are the trumpets? That's the seals, you know, or these different events taking place around the world. And the sound of the prophets speaking, you know, these prophecies into existence. Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers. The pipers are the prophets. 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettledrum. Yeah, because everything is following a particular everything is following a particular order. You know, there was a precept that just came to mind. 100 million angels singing, multitudes are marching to the big kettledrum. Let's go real quick to Daniel 7 and 9. It says, the Ancient of Days reigns. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool, means he was a so-called black man. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. That's dealing with the chariots. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him. These are the angels. And 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set and the books were opened. Yeah, because there's a judgment about to be brought upon the whole entire earth. So going back, it says voices calling, voices crying, because you got voices calling and you have voices crying, which are what? Which are the prophets out there speaking, and yelling out and blowing a trumpet. Let's go real quick to Amos chapter 3, verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? Yeah, that's why people get nervous when they hear certain alarms go off. Because certain alarms is not just your alarm or your car going off, or the alarm in your home going off, or your alarm clock going off in the morning. Some of these alarms are alarms for war, alarm for lockdown, alarm for martial law, and it's gonna be bad. Alarm for nuclear destruction, alarm for alien invasions. So the Lord is doing all of this. It says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, because before the Lord does anything, but he revealeth the secret unto his servants, the prophets. And what do the prophets do? They go out and prophesy until the time when the Lord does his thing. Barak the Yahawashi, the other scripture came to mind. Song of Solomon 8:4. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you stir not up, nor wake my love until he please. Because the Lord is doing this according to his will and according to his time. He has a time limit, and everything that he does is precise, is perfect. So going back to Amos 3:7, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth the secret unto his servants the prophets. The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord power hath spoken, who can but prophesy? So the prophets will be out here prophesying, speaking, singing, blowing the trumpet. Matthew 11:16. It says, but whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows. This is dealing with the prophets out there calling unto other Israelites. It says, and saying, we have piped unto you. We're blowing the trumpet. We're blowing the pipe. We're letting you know that destruction is coming, to get yourself together. It says, and you have not danced. You ain't getting down with this tune. It says, we have mourned unto you, and you have not lamented. Yeah, because you don't have that worried look on your face of something is about to go down. You don't have that sense of urgency to try to get yourself together before the Lord brings this destruction down. What can I do in order to be found in the good graces of the Heavenly Father and his son Yahawashi when the time comes? You ain't looking for that. All you're looking for is having a good time in this raggedy ass place. All right. Now, let's go back to the song. Matter of fact, let me put this right here. It says, voices calling, voices crying, some are born and some are dying, a time to live and a time to die. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom. This is dealing with Yahawashi's kingdom coming down and being set up and established. Let's go from there to the book of Daniel. Back to Daniel 7. Daniel 7:13. The Son of Man presented. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. What are the clouds of heaven? The chariots. It tells us in Revelation, the 1st chapter, that he cometh with clouds, dealing with these chariots. Excuse me. And came to the Ancient of Days, which is the Most High, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion, which is what? Power. That's why in Revelation, the 6th chapter, it said that he came to conquer, conquering and to conquer. King of kings and Lord of lords. He came to, he took all the different crowns off of all these different nations and put them on himself. Not literally, but he's accredited with taking these nations down. The Lord told him, sit thou at my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. And let's go from there to the book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and 7. It says, thou madest him a little lower than the angels, dealing with Yahawashi. Thou crownest him with glory and honor. Yeah, because he got a kingdom. He had to do what he had to do. Now he's sitting at the right hand of the Lord, waiting for his enemies to be put under him in subjection, and for him to be set up in his kingdom with his crown on his head. And did it set him over the works of thy hands, because he has control over everything. The only thing Yahawashi doesn't have control over is the Most High himself, because the Most High is the one that gave him that power. It says, thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. For in that he put all in subjection under him, he left nothing that is not put under him. Yeah, the only thing that's not put under Yahawashi is the Most High Yahweh. It says, but now, even at this present time, this was 2,000 years ago, but now we see not yet all things put under him. Why? Because everybody is not reverencing Yahawashi. You have people out there that are making fun of those names. You have this devil vocab Malone talking about private eye for Yahawashi. You have people out there making fun of the Lord's name, Nate in them. You have other people making fun of the name of the Lord and saying all type of manner of wickedness and blasphemies of the Lord's name. So we don't see all things put under him yet, but we're about to very soon. Now, let's go back. It says, and the whirlwind is, let's read that, as Alpha and Omega's kingdom come, because that's what we're waiting for. It says, and the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. What is the whirlwind? The whirlwind are the chariots. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree, right? So, and the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. Let's go from there to the book of 2 Kings 2:1. It says, and it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. So the whirlwind are the chariots, and Elijah was translated into the whirlwind or into that chariot, just like Enoch was translated into the whirlwind or the chariot. So when we jump down to the 11th verse, it says, and it came to pass as they still went on, meaning Elijah and Elisha, and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, which a chariot of fire is the same thing as a whirlwind, and horses of fire, which is a representation of power, and parted them both asunder. And what was that parted them asunder? What Esau calls a tractor beam. It came down from the chariot, and it covered round Elijah, and Elisha was on the other side of it, right? And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven, and the tractor beam pulled him up into the chariot. So Elisha saw Elijah going up into the chariot by that so-called tractor beam. You see? And pretty much that was it. It says, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. So he actually saw the chariots of Israel come and take up Elijah up into heaven by that whirlwind. All right. So the chariots is this whirlwind that Johnny Cash was speaking about. Now let's go from there to Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, because Yahawashi said, I am come to bring fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So he's coming to bring fire, but there's going to be fire here already. And the fire that he's coming to bring are the fire from the lasers of the chariots. Then you're going to have the missiles, nuclear missiles being shot, and then you're going to have actual fire raining down from the heavens. Just like you had during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. You had the same thing happen on a smaller scale during the time of Egypt, when the hail came down mingled with fire. It says, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. That's what he's coming with, his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, because he's coming to bring judgment, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by a sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. That's why there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Bottom line. All right. Now let's go from there to Jeremiah 23 and 19. It says, behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is going forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked, because in the book of Zechariah, the 5th chapter, it speaks about it entering into the house of the thief. And it's the curse that goeth throughout the earth, the curse of over Esau. The anger of the Lord shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days you shall consider it perfectly. And that's why there's so many so-called UFO sightings. And they're being made more and more manifest. Because the Lord now is making it to where these devils cannot hide that information anymore. At one time they were able to, but now with the internet and people have their smartphones and they're always recording anything they see, they're recording. They see an ant fall off a sidewalk, they're recording it. You know, they'll see whatever. You know, they'll see somebody eating a hot dog or whatever. They're recording everything. So there's a lot of not just regular people, but you also have pilots, you know, and whether it's helicopters or jets or whatever the case may be, that are seeing, you know, these chariots and recording them. You know, you have space shuttles, you know, these so-called astronauts in the out in space stations, you know, recording these events. You had NASA footage to where they try to shoot a chariot down, and before they could even press the button, the chariot was gone. Then you see the flash, you know, the flash of light, and then you see the laser coming after the chariot had long been gone by. But it's going to be made more and more manifest. You're going to start seeing it more and more clear. Because when you see those chariot sightings of that they look like you could see everything detailed and real close, that's not real. I don't believe that's real. You know, but there's going to come a time when that is going to happen. That's why most of the time you see spots and lights and, you know, different activities and different shapes. But they're usually at a distance. But it's going to start being more and more manifest the closer and closer we get. All right, so now let's go from there. Let's see what else we got here. We got one more, Zechariah 9. Zechariah 9 and 14. It says, and the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. That's dealing with the chariots. That's dealing with the lasers from the chariots, and eventually the missiles. And the Lord power shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. It says, the Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. And the Lord their power shall save them in that day as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown lifted up as an ensign upon his land. That's dealing with the lights from the chariots, you know. So now let's go back to the song. And the whirlwinds in the thorn tree, the virgins are all trimming their wicks. See, so it's like he's on point, because he's bringing out different events happening and what's about to happen, and he's bringing it out similar to how we bring it out, but just in his own way. We talk about the 10 virgins, 5 wise and 5 foolish, which we're going to get that right now. Matthew 25 and 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. Yeah, because the oil is the main thing. Because the lamps are a representation of each individual person, each individual Israelite man, right? But then you have the oil, which is what? The truth. So if you have a empty vessel, you're not going to be able to light that wick to give light. And that's the purpose of the Israelite man, you know, to be a prophet, if he's a prophet, a part of the elect, and to dispense the oil out of his lamp, which the oil being the truth. to give light unto those other Israelites that are looking for their way to make it out of here before the Lord destroys this place. It says, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Yeah, so the wise had the oil, and the oil is a representation of the knowledge. And that's pretty much it. You brothers can read the rest of it. I just wanted to get that point. It says, the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. So this right here is the chorus. Then you have this right here is the intro. These 3 lines are the intro. These 2 paragraphs here are the first verse, which I thought it was 2 separate verses, but I found out this is the first verse. Then this is the chorus. Then these 2 here would make the second verse, and this chorus here is similar, very similar to this chorus here, except it had a little extra at the end. All right. So then it goes on to read for the second verse. Till Armageddon, no shalom, no shalom. See? So after the destruction, that's when peace is going to come, because the scripture said that there's no peace to the wicked. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Then when they're finally fully destroyed, when Esau's fully destroyed, that's when, true peace is going to come upon the earth. This is Isaiah 14:6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke is dealing with Esau, the so-called white man, so you could understand. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Yeah, because now is your time for persecution. It says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Meaning what? The whole earth is going to be at peace once this disease, this parasite, this virus known as Esau is put down. That's when true peace will be on the earth. It says, yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us, meaning no one to cut us down, because this devil is cutting the trees down so much that it's causing a bad reaction in the earth, because the whole ecosystem is off. It's off its equilibrium. It's off its axis. You're taking out scavengers out of the seas, different crustaceans and shellfish and octopus and different catfish and different scavengers of the sea that are set up in there to clean up the sea. You're taking them out so people can consume them. Then you're cutting down the trees at an exponential rate, which the trees take in CO2 and they give off oxygen. But you're destroying the whole earth. Then you're polluting the air. You're polluting the water. You're polluting the food. Then you're pushing your freakish agenda on the people. You're polluting their minds. So you got to go, man. There's no other solution. You got to go. All right? And you can read the rest of that. That's the point. Till Armageddon, no shalom, no shalom. The word Armageddon, mountain of the troops, Armageddon. And that's what's happening over there in the Middle East, in the surrounding areas. Those different militaries coming together, different tanker ships and different wars and rumors of wars, different skirmishes and different situations happening to where it's putting people on red alert. Right now, this devil Biden is saying that that whole situation that happened back in the early 1900s with Armenia and Turkey was a genocide, which America has a nerve to call anything a genocide. What about what you did to the so-called Native American Indians of this land, the tribe of Gad? Would that not be considered genocide? What about what you did to all the people from Canada, all the indigenous people from Canada, all the way down to South America and everything in between? Would that not be a genocide? What about what you did to the so-called Negroes during slavery? Would that not be considered genocide? And you got a nerve to talk about genocide? These devils are the biggest hypocrites on the planet, man. It says, then the father hen will call his chickens home because the Lord is gathering his elect. The wise man will bow down before the throne. Yeah, because the wise man will bow down before the throne to be delivered. It says, It says, and at his feet they'll cast their golden crowns when the man comes around. I had to say it like that, Salakia. All right, so let's go from there to the book of Romans 14 and 10. Romans 14 and I started at 9. For to this end Yahawashi both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the dead and living. But why dost thou judge thy brother? Or why dost thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Yahawashi. Because Yahawashi is coming to judge. He's coming to bring forth that judgment. Now let's go to Revelation 22. Before we read Revelation 22, it says, let's read on. Whosoever is unjust, let him be unjust still. Whosoever is righteous, let him be righteous still. Whosoever is filthy, let him be filthy still. Listen to the words long written down when the man comes around. All right, so now Revelation 22 and 10. It says, and he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. If somebody can't get it, forget about him. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. Bottom line, because this word is what cleanses you. And if you don't take heed to the words of this doctrine, then you're not going to be clean. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. Yeah. So in other words, hold on to your faith. Hold on to what's been given to you. We're supposed to hold on to what's been given to us till the Lord comes back. Let's go from there to 1 Corinthians 14 and 38. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? If you speak to somebody and they're giving you all type of lip of what they feel or what they believe, and nah, I don't care what you say, leave that person alone. Forget about him. Now, I told y'all the story when I went to go get the car wash. There was this, I don't know if I told you brothers and sisters about it, but I actually went, and then I was talking to the, chick behind the counter. She was kind of cool. I'm not sure if she was Eve or she was one of the so-called Latin tribes. And she said, we were talking about something, about sneezing and, shit like that. So yeah, people get nervous when you sneeze or cough around them. There's a lot of allergies going on. She said, yeah, I have allergies. I said, yeah, I do too. And then she said, yeah, I'm going to go get the vaccine tomorrow or the next day or whatever day it was. And I said, I wasn't going to say nothing, but I said, they saying that when you take that, so-and-so, women's breast milk dries up. So yeah, but I already breastfed my, my two kids. They're already grown enough. I don't got to breastfeed them no more. She said, I also heard, that people are getting, they can't have kids. I said, yeah, it's sterile. She said, yeah. I said, I'm not worried about that because I'm not really trying to have any kids. So those two things don't really bother me. So at that point, I left it alone because she's already convinced in her mind she don't care. She's going to take it anyway. So no matter what I would have said to her, she was already in her mind geared that way. And she was cool, but it ain't about being cool. That's what I said. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. All right. So now going to back to the chorus. Hear the trumpet, hear the pipers, which is the prophets out there preaching. 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettledrum because the angels will coming back soon. Voices calling, voices crying, because you're going to have those that are calling, which are the prophets, and those that are crying, which are these people that are going to be lamenting. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come, because that's what's coming, Yahawashi's kingdom. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The whirlwind is a representation of the so-called chariots. The virgins are all trimming their lamps. The wise wicks, the wise virgins and the foolish virgins. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree, chariots. It's hard for you to kick against the prick. It's measured hundredweight and penny pound when the man comes around. Yeah, because this judgment is measured upon the earth. The Lord has measured the whole earth, like He spoke of in Daniel the 5th chapter when He was speaking to Belshazzar, because Belteshazzar, that was Daniel's name, but Belshazzar was the king's name, the king of Babylon. And he said this, Daniel 5 and 25. And this is the writing that was written. Many, many tekel upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, the Most High hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. So your kingdom has been numbered and it has been finished. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance and are found wanting. See? So pretty much wanting meaning you're lacking. And by the Lord, actions are weighed. Where's that scripture at? First Samuel 2:3. Talk no more exceeding proudly, let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. And this is why everyone's going to receive what they've done in their body, whether it's good or bad. Because he's weighing everything. That's why here it says, in measure, hundredweight and penny pound when the man comes around. Because the Lord is going to weigh these actions on the earth. He's the one that's going to bring, he's going to bring the pain. All right, let's see. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts. This is the outro. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And this is dealing with the events leading to just before the destruction during the time of Jacob's trouble. The famines, much death, much chaos happening, going around on the earth. And these are the things that are going to be happening, when the Lord comes back. And that's why we see so many prophecies being fulfilled and popping like popcorn. Seeing everything happening on a world scale. Seeing this event, this agenda happening worldwide, not just in one country or one city or one state, or one continent, across the whole world. And never has it been done in this fashion. And never has the world had the technology to where you were able to speak to someone somewhere clear across the other side of the world. Or do a video and the whole world could watch that video at the same time. So all of this technology, knowledge shall be increased, is all bringing forth the end of the world. The end of this age. The end of the so-called white man's age, which are known as the Edomites according to the Bible. All right. Oh, check that out. The company I work for, family, they is 2 guys walking with a limp from the Pfizer vaccine. Just a heads up. Yeah. So people taking that. I mean, I shouldn't have said the V word, but hey, it is what it is. Got to stay away from them baby swords, man. That jab is, you got to duck that jab or else. All right, so with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified, you few sisters also. Until the next time I say, Shalom.